There we go. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining this morning. Today's event is The Changing Face of Customer Service, and our speaker is Suzanne Shaw, who is the Director of Kent Trainers. It'll be a nice and interactive session this morning. We've got a few polls in there, so do feel free to ask any questions using the chat function. Try and keep your cameras on for us. It makes a really nice big difference when we can see people nodding along and reacting to what Suzanne's saying. It makes it a bit more like in real life, so a lot nicer for us when we're presenting. So yeah, keep your cameras on. Any questions in the chat? We'll do questions at the end as well. So if it seems like we're ignoring a question, I promise you we're not. We will just come back to them at the end. Probably quick introduction from me. I will now hand over to Suzanne.
Thanks, Molly. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to our changing face of customer service. It is changing, I suppose, as we speak, because as we've all been locked down for 18 months, it's been quite hard to adjust in certain areas. I think this is very apt today, this subject certainly, because I think as well as my own business, your own businesses that you work in, you've probably seen immense change in people's attitudes towards customer service, potentially how you offer your own services, how they've maybe had to change and adapt, and also the people that you are interacting with at the moment, and companies that you've interacted with both personally and on a business level. And I think what we're seeing now is a difference in trend. We're seeing different ways of people and how they think and what they expect from a service and what they expect from a company. So as Molly said, I'm going to take you through some of the findings that have been coming out over the last sort of 6 months and the predictions of where companies feel that they're going, where the customer service is going, how the last 18 months has affected certain companies, how some companies have actually excelled in dealing with the pandemic and how their customer service has just come to fruition, and how other companies have been left behind and actually haven't kept up with the demand that was necessary during the last 18 months and what that means to their own businesses now. So as Molly said, I'm used to training, and the amount of stuff that I want to tell you and share with you today, I probably could take it over a day, and it's really sort of quite sort of meaty and informative and lots of talk points. So it'll be very hard for me to keep quiet and not get so passionate about certain points. So I'll try my best. But as Molly said, if you have any thoughts during the presentation, if you put them in the chat box, then I can actually address those at the end, and we can have a discussion hopefully at the end a bit about those certain issues that you may find, or even discussions. And as she said as well, I've put a couple of polls in there this morning just to get a feel for your ideas of what your thoughts are and thinkings as well, with some of the big boy predictions that they look at with customer service. So with further ado, I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully this is where you cross your fingers and your toes and it all works out well, and you will be able to see my screen, for instance. Can you see it? Hurrah, hurrah, we say, hurrah. And this is where we shout and we show hands and everything, because I can't see you in person, but don't be worried, this is coming soon. So yes, the changing face of customer service. So as we know, there is a changing face of customer service. In fact, there's a changing face of what our customers expect. And hence, this is what our, what basically this presentation is about this morning. And if we look at it, I suppose, and, I'm going to talk over slides, but I'm not going to be Jack and Ori and do it bit by bit. But there's quite a lot of facts and information in here today. So rather than me just throwing it at you, I thought if I back it up with some slides as well, at least you can read through those as well. It has changed dramatically. And if we think back to many years ago, when the only time we could speak to somebody would be either sending a fax machine. People who are young might not even know what a fax machine is. It's quite scary. Molly probably is thinking, what is a fax machine? But, we used a fax machine. We tried to speak to people on the phone, and not a mobile phone. That was, potentially a landline. we had to try and see them face to face. So we would go to somebody's office face to face, or whatever it might be. But today it's changed dramatically, because we've got so much more options available to us at our disposal. You know, we've got SMS, we've got mobile phones, we've got emails, we've got live chats, we've got social media. So it has changed dramatically in the last 10 years, and more so probably in the last 5, as technology continues to grow and advance. But what we have to think about today with these advantages, about them being accessible. And now what happens is companies now are faced with delivering those advancements consistently. And are they actually being performed and integrating that customer service quality? So it's all right saying, yes, we're on social media, but are we still having that quality of customer service that our customers expect? So customers' expectations are at an all-time high, and so much so, I think, through the pandemic, we couldn't go out, we couldn't see people face to face. So technology brought in a massive part on what we were doing. And what we're saying is, you know, even if we could provide a positive customer experience 9 out of 10, the one time that you could not bring that customer service experience as a positive one and failed, it could be fatal. And it was saying here the future of CX, and what they've looked at and how they've done that, and how they've looked and surveyed 15,000 consumers, found that 1 in 3 customers will leave a brand they love if they have one bad experience, and one bad experience probably that has never been dealt with. So research now has found that few companies follow up with their customers. And put simply, you can avoid this poor experience by just following up an email. So if someone has put a complaint in, one of the things that we're finding now is that, you know, if we're not following up that someone's happy, it could potentially be fatal to that company, because actually they're just going to walk. They're not, you know, going to worry about staying. So if we look at what is a customer experience, so we look at the customer service point of view, but we also look at what is a customer experience. And the customer experience is start to finish. It's the perception of how your company treats them. So a customer experience is not just about one step, it's about many steps they go through from start to finish, from either finding you, finding your service, finding your product. And these perceptions of you are going to affect their behavior and how they believe they're going to be loyal to you, and if they are going to be loyal to you. In other words, if they like you, they'll continue to use you, and if they don't, they won't. And the good news is, it doesn't matter what kind of business you're in, what industry you're in, how big your business is, the experience of the customer journey and the experience is, you know, proven that you will increase retention, satisfaction, and revenue. So it doesn't matter if you're a small startup or you're a multinational company, the journey, the customer journey is going to be the same. So what I'm going to do here is, I think Molly's going to show us our first poll to do with customer experience. And she's going to, do you want me to stop sharing my screen now, Molly, and I can let you do, oh no, we can do this.
Okay, you can do this. Popped up.
Yeah, that's fine. So what I'd like you to do is think about loyalty to a company that you have actually shopped with or used in the last sort of 12 months. And think about, why do you stay loyal to a certain brand or company? And it's a single choice answer. Is it because of price, service, and product? Oh, we've got one that come in straight away. Is it the price? Is it the service? Is it the product? Coming in now. Product, service, price. Oh, going up and down. Oh. Got a mixture there. Okay. Still got somebody else to fill in, I think, maybe. Yep, coming in. Got 2 more, I think. Okay. So interesting to see that. So we've got 50% on service, 31 on product, and 19% on price. Okay. Not quite sure we've got the other two here, Molly.
No, I reckon that's everyone. It might be myself and you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I'm not too sure how it works,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're waiting for those two people and it's us. Right, so good. So we've got 50% on service, 31% on products, and 19% on price. So that is to give us a good idea, I suppose, on what we're going to cover on the next slide. Thanks, Molly. If we could share those results, that'd be great for everybody else. I think they can share that. Can you share that with everyone? Yeah. Okay, brilliant. So everyone can see that, what we've got there. So service is just pipping the post from products, and then price is third place. So let's have a look at the next slide then, because what I'll do is I can take that off now, can't I? So if we look at the next slide, what the prediction is and how that is, or if I press this button, hopefully we'll get on there now again. What they're saying is 5 customer experience trends you need to know for 2021. So what they've been looking at over the last 12 months is the trends that have occurred through lockdown and probably prior to that as well. And they're looking at a good customer experience means your customers will spend more, basically. In fact, they've said that 86% of buyers are willing to pay more for a great customer service or experience. And furthermore, a Walker study found that by the end of 2021, customer experience will overtake price and product as the key brand differentiator. Now, according to our poll, we had 50% people today were saying that yes, service is the number one, but we also had runner-up second as 38% with the product, and then price as well. So you can see that their predictions are that by the end of 2021, that they predict that customer experience will be the number one priority that people will look for in a company, in a business. They will be looking for the type of experience that you will offer them. So let's have a look at some of these trends then today. So customer experience is the new battlefield. Well, yes, it is. No one wants to do businesses with companies that treat you poorly. I think over the last 18 months, what's happened is a lot of people have actually decided to walk away from brands that they may have used for many years because how poorly they were treated. And some of them have definitely come to my mind, and I'm sure they come to your mind, when you think about potentially cancelling holidays or trying to get through to somebody because something's been cancelled, wherever it may be, and you don't even have a phone number, or they've just told you that the lines are busy, or they haven't got the staff to deal with it. So again, it is the new battlefield, and it has come. I think it's sort of started really empowering people who have got really, really good experiences and really good customer services in place before the pandemic hit. So a good interaction keeps you happy and satisfied, while a poor interaction could lead you to stop doing business with that company again. So it says here, because of extremes, why 88% of companies now prioritize customer experience in the contact center. So they are now putting more emphasis, which years ago, it was down to price, and we had a real battlefield against price, and it was all about how we could win our customers over with price, and that went through a very big trend. And it seems to have done an about turn again now by saying actually price is very important. However, if we have a good price for something but it fails and that product fails, the experience that we have then after that product fails or after that service fails is one that is very important to us, whether that company will actually rectify the problem or not. So brings me to my next one. Second point, the importance of multi-channel servicing. Right, so companies now interact, as we said before, with a multi-channel of different forms of communication, website, live chat, media, more, compared to when we were talking about on the first slide of just, fax machines, phone, face-to-face. However, while customers accept there's different channels that we're all using now, they all want the communication to be consistent. So in other words, they don't want you to be able to have a fantastic experience on a desktop, but a mobile phone won't give you the same experience. or if they phone somebody up, it is no longer a function that you use and you have to go to a live bot. So they still want that service to be consistent across all channels. So the question you have to ask yourself today, if you are using multi-channel servicing, are you consistent across both online and offline in the services that you are creating? So in other words, if you're giving a fantastic service through a desktop application, is the same thing happening on a mobile or on the phone or on a query or a call? So mobile customer experiences is our priority. So something that I talked about just then. When it comes to positive experience across different channels, mobile customer experience is expected to soar even. The reason is simple. A bad mobile experience can do serious damage to your brand. 84% of companies who claim to be customer-centric are now focusing on a mobile experience. If you think about the amount of times you search for a product or a service on your mobile phone compared to potentially your laptop or desktop, you've probably yourself have actually seen an increase in that over the last few years yourself. Whether you're looking for something very quickly to buy for yourself or your business, you potentially will look first of all at your mobile phone for that service, that ticket, that theatre, the cinema, whatever it may be, a product. You'll quickly look online on Google or wherever it may be to see or find that service. And it's generally now looking at 84% of companies claiming that that is going to be the next big thing, or even if it is now, it is the next big thing. So according to StatCounter, 50% of all internet traffic now comes from mobile, with desktop usage on a trending decline. And so you can see how much the influence of mobile customer service and being ready with mobile services are so important today. Number 4, frustration will lead to churn. So customers will share a positive experience with 6 or more people. But if a customer is not happy, 15 is not happy, 13 of them will share it with 15 people or more. And I would say that's in a face-to-face concept. If you think about when people are not happy now, they take to social media. They might put a really bad comment on Facebook page, or they'll send a really bad Twitter comment. And that can reach thousands of people within minutes. So if you think about the experience of now, when we don't have that positive experience, it's not just about telling people face to face now, it's bigger. The challenge here lies in the fact that in most cases, customers don't tell you they are unhappy. And in fact, only 1 in 26 unhappy customers will actually complain. The rest just leave. So they may be really disgruntled about something that's happened, and they'd rather tell everybody this story rather than trying for you to fix it. And in fact, that what they do is they don't give you the opportunity to fix the problem. They just don't bother coming back. So we're going to have another poll now, Molly, our second poll. And again, this is just to get an insight into your thoughts on our second poll. So what I'd like to know now is, when a customer encounters a service problem, do you prefer to talk to a customer service rep to sort it out, or try and find a solution yourself first? So when you've encountered a customer service problem with whatever sector it may be you're dealing with, do you want to talk to somebody about it for them to sort it out, or do you prefer to try and find a solution online yourself to be able to sort it out before you have to contact the company? Let's have a look. So they're going up and down. Ooh, 50-50. We won't wait for us this time, Molly. Won't wait for us to join the poll. Okay. Okay, so I think that's everybody. So interesting. So when you encounter a customer service problem yourselves, you would prefer to talk to somebody to sort it out for you, as opposed to 44%. So slightly behind, you want to sort it out yourself. Okay, so that's interesting, because that takes us on to our next one now. And if it takes us on to our next slide, which is, it will bring us back into play. It's saying self-service help will be now the first choice going forward. Okay, in 2021, as it says, companies should start looking at finding answers, letting customers find the answer to the question using a wide range of self-service options. It's saying today 67% of customers prefer self-service over speaking to a company representative. Well, not on our polls, it didn't, but that's why it was good to share that today, because the predictions are saying that over the last sort of 12 months, they've been doing cross-section polls to find out whether people would prefer to speak to somebody in a company or would try and find the solution themselves through whether it's a chatbot or whether it's just trying to sort it out themselves. Furthermore, 91% of customers would use an online knowledge base if it were available and tailored to their needs. So in other words, if companies now are providing good question and answer bits on their website, so they're doing a good question and answer forum on their website where potentially customers have encountered a problem before, and they can look at those problems before and see how it was solved and past customer experience. Or is there a button they can press for a refund? Is there something they can do where they can change maybe an appointment where you want to go in and just change a GP appointment is a big thing. You know, can I not just go on and see when I can do it rather than being told when I have to do it? So all these things are now saying, you know, if we have to spend 20 minutes waiting for a customer service rep, if not longer, could I just find the answer to myself if I just want to change a simple booking or just get a simple refund? So these are predictions of what I suppose we're looking at going forward. So we look at our next one, and I really don't, hopefully I'm not blinding you by PowerPoint, but unfortunately I will take questions at the end. So companies, to deal with these predictions of people wanting to now look for their own solutions, be self-sufficient, not have to wait for customer service rep to get back to us, and to be able to have an instant, you know, answer. People are now looking at artificial intelligence, AI. And this used to be something that only the bigger boys would look at. The bigger companies who had multi-million pound companies that once upon a time would look at AI to looking at for their customer service. However, AI now is seen to be mainstream. If we'd have looked at this 10 years ago, it would have been, well, actually, no, this is just mainly IT companies that do this. We're looking at mainstream. And the predictions are looking at to dominate customer experience landscape for many years to come. In fact, according, it says here, to one prediction, AI will power 95% of all customer interactions by the year 2025. To me, that's quite a scary thought, that's, you know, that's 4 years away, not 25 years away, 4 years away, that they're predicting that AI will look at 95% of customer interaction. And looking back at our poll there, you know, you guys are saying that actually you still prefer to speak to somebody. So whether that measures up and whether that prediction of 2025 of 95% of customers wanting to solve it through AI, we'll watch this space. I think it's a 4 year is a tough task to try and get there. But actually, that's the predictions of what people are now seeing in trends right across mainstream companies, not just technology and IT companies. It's saying here as well, customers are willing to find the answers themselves, so much so that by 2030, Gartner estimates that 1 billion service tickets will be raised automatically by customer-owned bots. That's a lot, isn't it? 1 billion service tickets. In other words, we're going to bots for our answers. And chat bots that we're going to for our answers to mainstream questions that we may have about a product or a service. So it's just a thought. So we need to think about, have this in mind with your own companies and what you're doing of thinking ahead. So in 2018, 25% of all customers' interactions were automated through AI and machine learning. So just 25%. With 90% of customers now planning to deploy AI within 3 years, this number is expected to grow to 40% by 2023. That's 2 years away. So 25% in 2018, but with 90% of companies now planning to do that, to grow to 40% by 2023. So again, it's a massive undertaking to a lot of companies to now get on board with AI, which potentially they had never ever dreamed of or thought about doing in the last 5 or 10 years. And now they're thinking in the next 3 years, 40% is looking at growing that and looking at taking technology onto the next level within their company. So in the short term, you need to make sure that when a customer has a problem, the right tools are available to them so they can look at solving it themselves. So in other words, what have you got in place within your own company that allows that to happen? And then we look at our next slide, which then goes on to the next one, which talks about omni-channel customer service. And you might think, what on earth is this? So a lot of you might have heard of omni-channel customer service, but what it's basically saying, going back to a similar slide before, it integrates text, social email, instant messaging, and it provides a uni-brand, I suppose, experience from your customer from start to finish. So whether it's a text message, an email, whether it's a tweet, whether it's looking on a Facebook, whether it's looking on your website, whatever it is, whatever that multi-channel looks like, it's looking now across the board of, do you get the same service and brand awareness right the way across everything you do? Or are there indiscrepancies between one service that you get from one channel and one from another? But are they all in the same direction, or one failing in your brand? And are your brands all matching up with each other again? So when you look at stats like Accenture's finding that 89% of consumers experience frustration at having to repeat their questions to multiple customer service reps. So you can now see the, I suppose, the value in perfecting these omni brands going across and these multi-channels. And again, you probably experienced it yourself when you've had to repeat yourself, or you go to somebody in a different department, has no idea who you are, what you're complaining about, or what you're interested in booking or buying. And it can become frustrating. So they're trying to basically bring it all together so there's less frustration for a customer and a better service for you. So omni-channel customer service best practices, going back to before, people do expect a good mobile service now. I think gone are the days when people looked at your website but then couldn't find it on, or it wasn't adapted to a mobile friendly service, so it didn't look the same, or you couldn't get the same functionality. So I can book, if I'm on my desktop, I can book that product, but if I go on my mobile phone, that service is not there for me. I cannot book that. So therefore I'm going to go away because I haven't got time to mess about. Unfortunately, businesses aren't keeping up with customers' expectations though, because 90% of customers say the customer service experience on a mobile phone was negative. Saying that 50% of customers say that a poor mobile experience makes them less inclined to do business with the company. So in other words, if you can't do something instantly, as we looked before at those figures saying that, you know, mobile phones are increasing and the service you use, we're looking at that. And if we don't see that service as being offered as something now, we'll go to another site. We'll just link off because it's so easy now to just, if I can't book it within minutes, or it's being problematic, or it's telling me to go back to a desktop or laptop, then we won't use them. We might actually go and buy a product from another site that's offering that service. So we have to be very mindful. So as it says here, as a result, companies that haven't optimized their website for mobile use are now using out to companies who are, because customer service has changed. Customer expectations have changed so dramatically that they want it here and now. They don't want to have to faff about looking for alternatives. So how can we do this? So we need to be thinking of how we're improving our response times. The mindset now with everything has changed. We all want everything here and now. We want it to happen yesterday. We don't want to wait for a response. even when we send emails, it's, we're waiting there, tapping our fingers, waiting for somebody to respond to us, thinking that they're just there just for us. So we have to start thinking about our own service that we use and our customers' expectations, and are we providing that through the social media channels that we use? Sometimes there's a gap between what our customers expect and what we actually provide. So what are those expectations, and do we understand them as a company? Do we understand what our customers expect from us? As it says here now, more than 30% of clients want an answer within 30 minutes. That's ridiculous, but that's what we're expecting. 30% of clients want an answer within 30 minutes. Not 3 days, not 2 days, not 48 hours, 30 minutes. And 57% of these clients expect the same turnaround time, even at night and on weekends. And this is where the social media now is coming in. This is where our chat box, our AI is now coming in to try and help us out, deal with that expectation, because we're only human. So this is where AI is now taking over that gap and narrowing that gap down to bringing those expectations of our customers, which has come up here, and potentially what our delivery is potentially down here. And as it says on the bottom there, the percentage of businesses respond within the expected 30 minutes is 8%. And a full 12% of businesses don't respond to customers' messages on social media at all. It just goes unnoticed, which is quite a concern. Live chat also can improve service and sales. So live chat now is a very popular form of customer service. So again, it's not a bot, it's live chat, where we'll all have come across it, where we see the little person up that comes up saying, "Hi, my name's Suzanne, how can I help you today?" And you put in there and you say, "Hi, I'm stuck on this," or "I'd like to buy a product," or "This service has failed," and somebody is there, you haven't had to phone them, but the live chat comes up. As it says here, 63% of visitors be more likely to revisit a site that offers a live chat. And 44% of consumers report that being able to get answers to the questions during a purchase is one of the most important features a website should offer. So a live chat, so if they come across something and they think, "Wow, I'm not understanding how I booked this," we get a live chat pop up saying, "Hi, I can see you're on our website. I can see, is there anything I can do?" And you quickly write in your question. And there's someone come up and said, "Yeah, no, we can do that straight away for you." And you think, wow, that's amazing. So again, besides it being an effective channel for customer service, live chat can also improve your sales. So, a support agent walks through clients' particular issues. They may be able to identify a product or service that'd be useful to them. So instead of them walking away because they can't see the product or service, somebody on a live chat, for instance, within 2 minutes of live chatting to somebody, could have actually either upsell something or sold them another product or service that potentially they would have gone away from because the answer was not evident to them, or they just couldn't be bothered to look for the answer themselves. Professional customer service agents with extensive knowledge of the brand's products and services can use live chat to create a positive customer experience and boost sales. So with this, we also look at the person behind the live chat. So someone in the live chat is great, but you've also got to have experienced customer service representatives who understand your services and products in order to make live chat work. If they haven't got the industry knowledge or service knowledge or product knowledge that you're looking for, again, this can lead to frustration because people are looking for answers. Their expectations, don't forget, are up here. So again, if we've got somebody who then can't give us the answers, then again, that can also lead to frustration. So the actual person on the end of that live chat is as important to know that as it is face-to-face. So we have to ask ourselves then, is email still a contender with all this AI going on? And email still works for certain industries and can work very well when processes are in place. And I think, when we look at email, we're still very much, I certainly look at email as being one of my main forms of communications with a lot of our customers. And it says here, 38% of consumers prefer communicating via email about simple customer service issues or potentially an inquiry. But again, we should be aware of expectations again. You know, expectations with an email are just as much generally as they are with social media, maybe not as quick, but still there. And it shows here, fast replies still applies to email. However, as customer service benchmarks report found 62% of customers and companies do not respond to customer service emails. So that's quite shocking, seeing as that 38% of consumers still want to communicate by email when they've got a problem or an issue or a question. And 62% of companies still are potentially not responding to customer service emails because maybe they've moved away so much from emails, they rely on AI too much. So we now find ourselves in this conundrum of where do we, should we, and how do we fit? So trial and error. I suppose it comes down to trial and error. A lot of companies spend lots of money and investing time and effort into looking at omni-channel services, looking at how many different services they can offer, social media, text, website, mobile. They go into all of these things and they use lots of different software to do it. But what the problem is sometimes is what they don't do is they don't test it. So they launch it, but don't test it potentially with real people. So, or they don't test it from start to finish. So looking at that customer experience that we looked at from the start, it's an experience from start to finish, from looking at a product to searching for the product, to buying the product, to the aftercare sale. That is what we're looking at as a customer experience. But if we have all this lovely functionality in AI going on, but we don't actually then as a business check it out to see whether it actually works, and is that customer experience nice, does it do it with ease and flow, then we could actually fail. So we need to make sure that we are initiating that trial and error and changing it as we need to, as times change and products develop. There's nothing like initiating a live chat or posting a tweet and looking at the responses that you get from it. Are we looking at how it works for us? And is it the measures that you want in your company? So actually, just because it works for one business and company does not necessarily mean it will work in your industry or with your customers. So that's why it's super important that you understand the customer journey that your customers are on and what their expectations are from you. So, omnichannel customer service is an effective solution for forward-thinking businesses. Yet it is. However, don't underestimate the human touch that ties it all together. Well-trained staff that can timely address your customer service concerns and deliver a positive image or brand is the key to providing top-notch customer service. And it goes without saying. And I know these AI predictions are coming in and looking at it, but I still believe wholeheartedly that customer service and being able to speak to somebody and also having well-trained staff who can deal with issues, whether it's customer complaints, whether it's product knowledge, whether it's providing an aftercare service, whatever it is, that is still and should be remaining a priority to customer service industries. And it says here, no matter what channels you choose to use, customer service is the priority. And it should also, no matter what channel you use, it should still be honest and experience. And it should still be creating a positive impression to the customer that you're dealing with and not just a fob off. And so sometimes people think they're using AI is an alternative to providing a great service. It's kind of like, oh, we'll let the AI sort it out or let the bot sort it out. And it shouldn't be like that at all. If we think about how we can build that loyalty and retain customers, we should think about keeping it personalized, no matter what channel you use. Timely. What are our customers' expectations? When do they expect us to get back to them? And are we actually adhering to that? Is the information relevant to our customers that we send out? And is it relevant to what we've got online to how they can actually find that solution? Is the experience the customer goes through effortless and simple? Is it seamless from one channel to the other? Do we create a remarkable service where people want to come back for more? Is it memorable? Do they remember you and tell their friends about the experience that they've had? Or is it the bad experience? And is it consistent? Is the service you provide your customers currently consistent? Not only with different customers, but across the channels that you use. And these are the things that you need to be, as a business, start thinking about how to keep that loyalty in the customers you've got and to retain customers. It's so much easier to retain customers than it is to find new ones. But are we doing it? So our summary: with 9 out of 10 businesses competing mainly on customers' experiences now, it's the organizations that take customer experience seriously that will stand out from the noise and win those loyal customers over. If you make sure the interaction with your company is smooth, pleasant, and continuously improving, you will drive brand loyalty. And if not, you'll give your competitors the best gift you can, your customers. So there's a lot to take in there. And I think we've looked at a lot of information and trends and how we were performing, how the predictions are looking at where we go from now. But again, today is also about looking at those trends, how things have changed, certainly brought things to the forefront in the last 18 months and pushed us all to examine probably different ways of working within our own companies. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And I'm going to come back to you. Here I am, back live in the room. And just, again, I suppose, look at any chats that, if anyone's got any chats or questions. Obviously, I've not looked at the chat box. So I've left that lovely task for Molly to do throughout my presentation. So I didn't get sidewinded and start chatting to you all in chat boxes as well. Let's bring up the chat then. So let's have a look what we've got. Do you want me to go through some of these, Molly?
Or feel free to have a look through. I don't know if anyone's got any questions at all, but that was a really informative session, so thank you so much. I think it's sparked quite a bit of conversation there in the chat. Particularly looking here, Mark was saying a lot about when we were talking about self-service and that side of things. I think I saw a lot of people nodding along. I think it's one of those things where people's expectations are really starting to change, aren't they? And probably one that people won't really agree on. You will get people being like, I want to speak to a real person, and someone else being like, why do I want to speak to someone if I can do it myself? So really interesting, those facts there that you went through.
I think as well, I think the pandemic's really pushed everybody out of their comfort zones, and I massively see a massive change in customer service. And I think probably it really focused on companies in the last 18 months, certainly, that have failed in the past before the pandemic. And I know personally myself, certain companies come to mind whenever, I think, oh, they're really good on price. And then I second guess it and go, yeah, but last time I did that and I had an issue, goodness me, it took me 6 months to actually get a refund. So would I prefer to pay an extra 20 quid actually, and know that if something goes wrong or I need to change these details, I can phone somebody, or actually I can do it online. I can go online and say, I want to cancel this booking. Can I have it credited, or can I move my booking over? And these things stick in your mind. And I think the companies that even before the pandemic were failing in customer service industries really then became focused on, because people were then going, yes, you've proven that you've not got customer service at the top of your agenda, and people are now starting to walk away from you because you're fantastic on price, but really it's great if we don't have an issue, or we don't have to cancel flights, and we don't have to change bookings or get a refund. It's great, but when things go wrong, you're awful. And so people are now thinking, especially, through this pandemic, if I can get a refund really quickly, if I can change something really quickly, if somebody's at the end of the phone to me, great. I've had it myself, personal experience, in the last 12 months, personal experience, where I'm like, okay, I'm trying to phone you. I've gone on your website to find out what the protocol is to do this. There's nothing. I've tried to ask for a refund and I've got nothing. You've told me to email you. I've got an automatic reply. And I've had this experience in the last 6 weeks, I can assure you. Email me. I've emailed you. I've asked you to cancel this. At the moment, I haven't even had a reply. I don't even know from 6 weeks ago whether I'm going to get a refund. I don't even know whether somebody expected me to be going to France. Probably they were still waiting for me because I couldn't contact them by phone. There was no chat box. There was no live feed. There was no information on their website. There was no function at all for me to do anything myself. Will I use them again? I've already decided next year I'll be going with somebody else. So that brand loyalty that I've had for many years has moved, basically because in the last 6 months.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I feel like if you deal with a complaint really well, and like you say, if someone reacts, you know, they pick up the phone, they reply to the email really quickly, you can save that customer, even if they had the worst experience. Because if you rectify it quite quickly and react quite quickly, you know, that customer will probably still return again, even if it was quite a big issue. But by leaving that, you're probably losing, you know, retaining customers is a massive part of the customer service, really.
Yeah, and I think as well, you know, in the pandemic, I think we give everybody a bit of leeway. In those first 3 months, it was all a shock. We all went into shock, didn't we? Every business went into shock, and we had to adapt. Every business had to adapt massively. And, you know, we all give it the benefit of the doubt that, you know, okay, people are now having to work from home. We may not have systems and telephone systems in place. We might not have even people might not have the right technology at home to do this. So we give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and we let everybody have that sort of breathing space at the beginning. I know we did, you know, like you can't get through to somebody. Okay, what happens here? Okay, right. And, you know, come on, due to high demands of calls or due to high demands of whatever. But I think we've come out the other side now, and there's no excuse. You know, 18 months down the line, and there are companies still out there now using the excuse that we're still in a pandemic. Yes, we are. We're coming out the other side of it, but we've had 18 months of it. And those customers that actually sort of got on board with it and embraced it and invested and said, okay, we need to train our staff. We need to bring in the technology. We need to do this to service our customers, have actually come out the other side. And the customers who sat back and gone, well, we'll just wait for this all to blow over, we're not going to invest anything at all, have actually not provided a better service, and in fact are providing no service at all. And people that I know and predictions in the industry are now saying people are walking away. And it will probably be in the next 12 months when we look at the bottom line of certain industries and certain companies, that will they still have that loyalty in 12 months time when they've potentially had such a shoddy service in the last 12 months?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had a message here from Mark in the chat who says, do you have any examples of any companies that have done this especially well?
I think I can probably say one of the insurance companies. I know a couple of insurance companies that went and didn't really do much about it. And then we had another insurance company who put measures into place immediately. And that was Lloyd's Insurance. And because in the first 3 weeks of lockdown, and the first time, they made sure that every member of staff were equipped with the technology to deal exactly with the questions and demand that customer service would bring them. But they supplied the employees with the equipment to work professionally at home, just as they would in the office. Admiral was another one that I got through, but there is a couple of other ones that you could say, I think, you know, I think as well as when we look at omni-channels and we look at different sort of, I suppose, online, I still think whether you love them or loathe them, Amazon is still one of those people who give you the experience from start to finish.
Yeah.
They give you that seamless start to finish experience. And they even realized a couple of years ago that people potentially wouldn't buy from them because of potentially the hassle of sending a product back that they didn't want anymore, whether that was broke or they just didn't want it. And they changed it around and they said, okay, we need to now combat that, and we will now change the ease to send something back free of charge, should it not be suitable anymore? And that was something that was, I suppose, getting in their way, so they changed it. You know, it is harder for smaller companies to adapt and look at change into AI, because it wasn't mainstream many years ago. It was something that we wouldn't think of. But going forward now, and I think probably the pandemic has really brought it to the fore, in order to, I suppose, meet demand of the expectation of our customer, we're all the same. You know, us and as a customer now, we're like, well, why haven't they got back to us? You know, we're the same. You know, even business owners are the same. Like, but to meet that expectation and demand, we have to now start thinking about how technology can enhance our own services that we provide to our own customers. And only businesses, you know, only the business that you work in, will you really know what those technologies are going to be and how they will work for your customers. And even if you want them to bring them in, because your customer base may be horrified of using AI. You know, if your customer base is all over the age of, you know, for instance, one of my things comes to Saga. You know, if all your customer base has always been an older generation, should we be telling them the only way they can communicate is through a computer and AI? They'd potentially be horrified if they couldn't speak to anyone on the phone ever again. So, you know, we have to look at our customer base and what our customer expectations are, and then we have to adapt our customer experiences and technology and everything to that base.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have got anything else?
A few comments there. Laura says that Holiday Extras are getting a lot of good reviews of how they dealt with customer service. That's really good.
Yeah. Nespresso, yeah, good one as well from Nespresso. Yeah, use Nespresso quite a lot, and yeah, they offer a very good service if you've done that. And next day, the one with Nespresso is a good one there, actually. I'm looking at time now, going on a bit. But Nespresso, again, one of the failures for Nespresso many years ago was that they weren't recycling their capsules. So you can imagine how many millions of capsules. So it was a great service. They would put it out there, but they weren't, you know, making it necessarily easy for consumers to recycle. And that was something of a downside to Nespresso. So Nespresso thought about this and started providing bags that you could then put all your capsules in and then drop them off at a recycling point. And so they were trying to make it easier for the consumer who wanted to recycle to do that, because again, they felt that was a flaw in their customer experience journey. So that was quite a good one as well. I'm trying to see.
We've had a message here from Mark who said, we have several companies, we have financial I can't say this word, thanks Mark, irregularities and simply cannot communicate with to sort out. Are others are experiencing similar issues?
Let's have a look. Where's that question?
I did not explain that one very well, sorry.
Let's have a look. Some comments. We have
Mark,
financial irregularities
as well, if you like. If you'd like to ask
not communicate to sort out queue, other experience similar issues. Yeah, I mean, that would be quite a good one to throw out to everybody else. Yeah, several companies with financial irregularities with simple cannot communicate to sort out. Yeah, I mean, I think there's so many companies still out there that haven't taken their head out of the sand. I think they think that company loyalty will remain, and some companies are still living on a brand from many years ago, that they're kind of like, yeah, well, we've got this. And I think, you know, looking at the predictions and the stats so far, people will sort of just walk from a brand. And I know that, you know, if you look at, you know, you look at your shopping now, you know, most of us might go out to, you know, do our shopping. And we might use a certain shop on a weekly basis to do our shop because we like that brand, but it wouldn't stop us going to Sainsbury's or Tesco or somewhere else because it was convenient on the way home. Because everybody now is bringing, you know, the same product to us. So again, a lot of brands over the years have got complacent with the service they offer. And I think certainly as well, by people's footfall walking away and people going away and saying, well, actually, we're not going to be loyal to you anymore because you're not offering the service we want. And they've realised that, sometimes when it's been too late because people have walked already because they hadn't listened to them at the time. I think.
Hi, Molly.
Hi, Mark.
Hi there. Sorry, thank you for inviting me to unmute and just reiterate this point. I wondered if anybody here has experienced what we experienced we've got irregularities with companies, well-known companies, we absolutely simply cannot make simple communication with to sort the issues. And these things are going on and on and on. We're talking about large institutions. And also, with talking about what you're talking about, the bar is so low amongst all the large companies, I just don't think anything's going to happen. And as far as the thing you started off with, Suzanne, personally, I mean, by all means disagree, but I honestly think some of that is almost false news. Yes, we try to sort things out ourselves, but we can't communicate with people.
Yeah.
And companies want to put that out as the way that what everybody really wants.
Yeah.
And, we know they can doctor questionnaires and things because it's so much more profitable when you take people out of the equation. Absolutely. And I find it absolutely frightening where it's all going. I really, really do, because we know the human condition is having real issues getting to deal with social media, tech, and all the rest of it. Tech being an absolutely fantastic thing, depending on how it's used.
Yes.
You made a phenomenal point where they put these beautiful systems together. Nobody ever tests it.
No.
You know what I mean?
And also, it's also understanding, and it goes back to before about, it has to be understanding your journey. If we're only going to put things out as you can only contact us by social media, you can only contact us, and you go, but I don't want to contact you by a bot because your bot is not answering my question. We should then have another phase in there to say, if it can't answer my question, I can phone you. So if I want to try and look for an answer, that's fine. But if I don't want to, you should. And so many big companies now are using that as an excuse. They hide their phone numbers.
Yes.
You can't find a phone number for love or money, or even an email. It's all chat boxes and which again can cause people to walk away because, again, have they really understood their customer, and have they really understood the expectation that yes, people might want to do it, but other people might not. So what's happening to the customer base that isn't happy using a chat bot? What happens to people who want customer service?
With the large companies, we have no choice. But with each of you here, for instance, if I'm thinking about doing business with you, I'm checking you out. I'm seeing if your face is on that website. I want to know who you are, what your business ethics are, what you're really bringing to the table, not just the service you might be selling me. So am I to believe, honestly, everybody here, nobody's having the experience that I'm having where they've got irregularities with an entity or a company and they can't make communication? Am I actually the only one here that's having that experience, really?
No, I don't believe you will be.
Well, actually,
sorry, I'm speaking on behalf of everyone there.
No, not a single person seems to be having this experience. And I find that very, very surprising. I really do. Nobody's having a single issue with any company that they cannot communicate with to sort it out.
Yeah, I'll help you out, Mark, if you like. The only client we have problems with is local authorities. Out of all of our other clients, which are all private companies and things, but the local authority pain in the neck. And I understand that. They had 4.5 out. They're actually been a client for 30 years, but they had 4,000 users, and they weren't prepared to all just disappear out of the building and go home ever. They don't have the facilities to do anything.
Banks, service providers, utilities providers, nobody here has got a single issue with any of them, no?
Oh, I think we would have issues.
It appears not, though. Let's take this as the truth. I mean, nobody seems to be having a problem. Maybe, I don't know what, but maybe we do need to have a complete rethink about this. And how because we are having big problems communicating with big companies. We do.
And I think as well, it comes down to, it goes probably back to one of my beginning the slides where, about, it says, we don't necessarily always tell somebody that there's an issue. What we'll just do is we'll just leave. And unfortunately, when people do that and don't bring the issues to the fore, then companies, in my eyes, if companies don't understand what the real issues are, then how can they ever mend them if people are just leaving without actually complaining and making it, And I think what's happening nowadays is, for me, it's frustrating as well, is that companies will only react when you put something on social media. So you could write and you could phone and you can shout about things, but actually it's only when you put a post on Facebook or social media or Twitter on their account and you completely slag them off or tell them how useless they are, that within 3 minutes you may have a response back asking you to take it offline.
I've definitely experienced that one before.
Yeah. And I realise we've just run out of time, haven't we, Molly?
Yeah, I was just going to say.
I could talk about this all day. Sorry, everyone.
I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Thank you for the voice there, Molly. I really appreciated that. Thank you.
No, of course. You're more than welcome. It's what we're all here for, you know. It's good to have a good discussion and keep the conversation running. And yeah, I mean, so many people are nodding along with you. So I know that you're not the only person that really experienced this. It looked like that really resonated with a lot of us here. So thank you for sharing your opinion. But that does unfortunately take us to the end of today's time. So thank you so much to everyone for attending. I hope you enjoyed the session. But of course, most of all, thank you, Suzanne. That was a really, really great session and really informative. We have been recording today as well. So if anyone wants to watch back at all at any point and go over any of Suzanne's points, then I will send out a link later on today. And
could I just say one more thing, Molly, sorry, before everybody goes. So thank you for all coming today to this session. On the, I think it's 28th of September, I'm running an online dealing with customer complaints and confrontation. It will be online, and so is a special offer for you who have attended today. If you want to contact me, I think Molly might put my email in the chat box now. There it goes. If you want to attend this, we are doing it £99 instead of £250, which would be our normal fee. So if anyone would be interested in joining us on dealing with customer complaints and confrontation with me on the 28th of September, drop me an email and I'd be happy to give you that as a special offer today for the £99 instead of the £250. And again, it's just for those people who have joined us today. So thank you for joining us. But if there's any other training needs as well that you would like to talk to me about, please drop me a line about those as well. I'm passionate about training and all things customer service. So please contact me.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you again, everyone, for attending, and to you, Suzanne. Hopefully see you all soon.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.